The United States and Israel have signed a new military aid agreement, now officially the single largest pledge of military support in U.S. history. Just under $40 billion worth of war toys will be heading to Tel Aviv over the next decade, but it's still less than Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu initially demanded. RT's Alexei Yershevsky reports.
Joy and glee today in Washington as junior officials from the United States and Israel signed the long-awaited Memorandum of Understanding. That is the new deal between the two countries on military assistance. A historic one, if we look at the numbers. In fact, they look astonishing. The current deal, military support from the United States to Israel, stands at $3.1 billion a year. But the Israeli Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, wanted a very sharp increase, asking for $4.5 billion a year. It was believed that he wanted to hold out for such a deal, but now he has agreed to what the Jerusalem Post described as major concessions. The new pledge of military support will be $3.8 billion a year, stretched over a 10-year period. This amounts to $38 billion in total, the single largest pledge of military assistance to a foreign state in U.S. history. Netanyahu has been insisting that his country is in a volatile situation, and that's why Israel needed so much more military funding from the United States. His sentiments certainly struck a chord with many on the Capitol Hill. At least 83 U.S. senators signed a letter to the Obama administration back in April to grant this kind of support. But is it really needed, though? And is it needed so urgently that Netanyahu decided against waiting for the new president in Washington? To discuss that, I'm joined by author and editor at Alternate, Max Blumenthal. Thank you so much for being with us.
Good to see you.
So what's about this deal? Is it really needed? Is Israel in volatile state, as Netanyahu believes?
Well, if Israel's in a volatile state, it's because of the kind of country it's decided to have. The United States actually blamed Israel for destroying Secretary of State John Kerry's framework agreement for a peace process in 2014. And so without a peace process, Israel's basically going to have to bomb its way out of all of its problems and to continue to put walls and mass surveillance systems in order to continue this project of demographic engineering. And what this $38 billion signifies is the U.S. basically rewarding occupation and accepting Israel's place in the region where it is a force for instability and where it will have to bomb its way out of every political crisis.
Why Netanyahu decided against waiting for the new administration? Why he decided to make those concessions and sign the deal now?
Well, Netanyahu is actually under a lot of pressure domestically because of political crises and scandals within Israel that Americans might not be familiar with. So this makes him look really good. The Obama administration has chosen to prop up Netanyahu's far-right government with this deal. From Netanyahu's standpoint, he could have possibly gotten the $45 billion that he wanted under Hillary Clinton, who is actually more subject to the pressures of the pro-Israel lobby in the United States. So I think he chose this just for his own domestic political considerations.
Max, but how does this even work? I mean, relations between Obama and Netanyahu have been very frosty. Obama signs the Iranian deal, Netanyahu slams it, and now the historic deal goes through. How does this even fit into the international foreign relations?
Yeah, I mean, if an alien came down from outer space or an objective political observer came to the United States and saw this deal, they'd wonder, why is Obama rewarding a country led by a man who actually tried to unseat him in the 2012 election, who's consistently insulted him and undermined him? It doesn't make sense, and that has to do with the domestic pressures that Obama faces from the pro-Israel lobby and from the weapons industry, because this $38 billion is going straight back to Texas and Colorado.
Thank you so much, Max, for being with us. Just to follow up on what Max was saying here, the deal today was signed by junior officials, and all that despite Benjamin Netanyahu coming to New York this weekend to attend the UN General Assembly. Alexei Yershevsky, RT, reporting from Washington, D.C.